My girls hold me down, them boys mess around. My love life is a mess. We're going out tonight because I'm looking for love. That's right, y'all. That's right. It's your girl Barbie J here, and we are talking about Tyler Perry's dramedy Sisters, Season 4, Episode 5, Life, Soul, and Heart. Somebody tell me what that title is about and who's it in reference to. Is life the one that Karen is carrying? Soul and heart. I don't know. Does that have something to do with Fatima and Zach? I was trying to get what that was all about. That title. Anybody have an idea? Please put it down in the comment section. I thought this was a cute episode. It was good, not cute. That's not the word I meant. It was cool. It was all right. I needed a little bit more action, but at least it's setting us up for, I guess, next week. It's setting us up for next week. So I think next week will have more stuff because maybe Karen will be meeting with the girls next week. Because we know she's about to go in with, what's his name? Aaron. But anyway, before we get into this episode, honeys, darlings, do me a favor and hit that little subscribe button. Go on, subscribe to Barbie J's channel. Hit the subscribe button, then hit the notification bell, which should let you know every time I upload a new video. Then I ask that you like the video, make a comment on the video, and then share the video. Okay? Subscribe, comment, like, and share. Thank you. All right, now let's move on. Okay, so this episode starts off with Logan chasing Danni into her house and trying to let her know that he's an undercover cop, and that's why no other officer at the airport chased him down except her and her damn shoe. I started laughing. I was like, she said, "How's your head?" He's like, "Oh, I got the stitches in a knot." But she said, "Stop lying." He know he didn't get no knot, but he was trying to be funny. But he said he didn't want her to blow his cover because he's got to come back into the airport. She said, "No, no, you full of crap." She doesn't believe him, you know. He said, "But no, it's true, it's true." She's like, "Show me a badge, show me something." She said, "Because that girl was shaking and everything. She was nervous." He said, "Yeah, we took her to her parents." But he said, "I'm very passionate about what I'm doing with these kids, these children. They're trying to bust this sting. That sting, whatever she's worried about, is what they're trying to do with the trafficking, the kids." And so he said, we need people with your passion, in the business. So she was like, "Yeah, okay." But once he showed her the badge, she's like, "Okay, well, check this out. I'm going to be watching you." He said, "Well, I'll feel much better knowing you are." I said, "Oh, okay. All right now." So that was them and their little moment. I said, he really going to try to be talking to her now because he done seen her in her lingerie and wrapped up in a nightgown and everything. I was like, shoot. Anyway, he seen all that thickness. He might be down for it. I'm sure he ain't gonna stop now. But anyway, um, who was next? Andi called Sabrina to say that Karen wants to talk to them. Okay, I forgot all about that. She wanted to talk to them at night, so I'm thinking she gonna tell him about she being pregnant. And so she asks her to call Danni. And she's like, Danni mad at her. She's like, "I know." She said, "But why couldn't you call her?" She said, "Because I think Danni will respond differently if you call. If you call, she'll be different and more open to going. If I call, she probably cuss me out." She said, "You right about that." She's like, "Damn, you ain't had to answer the agree that quick." But anyway, moving on. That was that. And then they at the bank and Maurice is pissed at Sabrina and Calvin for setting him up with that guy and stuff. And he was making some sarcastic comments and Sabrina fell for it. She was like, "Oh, really? Oh, that sounds like," he said, "Bitch, I'm being sarcastic. Don't you know when that somebody's being sarcastic?" I start laughing. But then they're at the teller booth or whatever, and his phone is ringing, and Sabrina being nosy. He not answering it. Boy, your phone sure keeps ringing. And she's looking at it and she's like, "Oh, it says correctional facility." And I'm sitting there going, "Why are you so interested in him and answering his phone?" Because don't y'all remember, was it 1 or 2 episodes ago or something? She was fussing at him for being on his phone at work. She had a problem with him on the phone. Now she's like, it's ringing and you're not answering it. Why don't you answer it? So I'm like, make up your mind, Bree girl. Make up your mind. He's obeying the rules of the bank. Anyway, so Maurice is like, He said, isn't it amazing? You could see into my phone, but not into a daggone man you've been dating for weeks who's suspect. I said, oh, no, he didn't. I said, oh, wow. Isn't that something? She shut her mouth real quick. Said, I ain't seen nothing. I ain't say nothing. I was like, too late, girl. You already was in his Kool-Aid and he gave you the business about it. Oh, it's too funny. Maurice he had a few good lines this week, this episode. So his phone starts ringing again, and he finally answers it. And of course, we know it's Q, and he's telling him to please stop calling me, you know. And Q's like, if you didn't want me to call you, you shouldn't answer it. And I'm like, you keep calling over, and he was ignoring it. He's like, he said, please stop calling me. Do you think I enjoy this? He starts with the, oh, I know what you do enjoy. He said, biatch, he was like, who do you think you are talking to? I've had better. And he's sitting there going like, no, you haven't. So Maurice is like, who do you think you are? And he was like, I'm trying to be your man. He said, no, you're trying to be not be homeless. That's what he told him. You trying not to be homeless. I said, he's so right about that and on point. So he told him, just don't call me no more. And he hung up. He's like, bye-bye, bye-bye. Because he kept asking him, have you thought about it? He was like, there ain't a damn thing to think about. Bye-bye, bye-bye. So then we got Danni calling Sabrina to tell her what just happened, with Logan, and Sabrina's like, oh my God, and stuff. And after they finished talking, she said, okay, so I'll see you tonight. And and Danny's like, what's tonight? She said, oh, Andi wants us to all meet at her apartment. Karen got something to tell us. She's like, oh, hell no, I'm not going. That biatch got me calling me to see Preston go on a date. I ain't got time for that. I'm going to be working. I don't want to be boss. She said, come on, I need you. You got to be there. You got to be there. It might be important. She said, I'm not going. I'm not going. I'm not going. She said, I see you there. She hung up on Sabrina. So that was that. Then they got Karen coming into the salon, and Pam is standing there looking at her and doing the eye thing. Now everybody knows what that means. She's doing the eye thing and moving her neck so you could see the lady that something's going on. You've been working with Pam all this time. You should know her craziness. She's like, is something in your eye? What's wrong with your neck? She like, oh, is it your lash? She reaching for her lash. I said, was that supposed to be funny? Because it's not really that funny to me. I'm like, she trying to warn you. Come on, pay attention here. So she finally tells her that lady is back, and the lady comes over, and Karen is like, what are you doing here again? So she says, can you do something for me? Can you give something to Zach for me? She said, but how am I going to do that? I told you I don't know where he is. But didn't you go see him yesterday? And Pam jumps in, no, biatch. You don't get to be asking her no questions. And Karen's like, Pam. She was like, no, she don't get to be asking no goddamn questions up in here. We don't know. I don't care if she is the police. The lady said, well, I'm not a police. And Karen, and now Pam go, then who are you? Because Pam was doing all the talking. And she didn't even tell who she was. She still didn't say where she from. She didn't say who she was, her name or nothing. Just somebody looking for Zach. She said, well, go on, bloodhound, and do your thing. Pam was cracking me up. You go on, bloodhound, because I ain't telling you shit, and neither is she. It's like, you better go ahead, Pam. I'm loving the new Pam. She ain't just nosy. She getting into it and doing something about it. I love it. So now the lady just still standing there looking at them. And Pam is staring at her. They staring at her, and Pam go, Karen? She said, yeah. Why she still here? Karen like, I don't know. She said, bye, bye. She's like, go on, get out. And the girl said, the lady started walking. Karen said, and don't come back here again. And the lady's like, I hear you. She said, you need to do more than hear it. Just do it. And then, Pam, I'm going to go. I'm going to do something. I'm going to get her license plate. What you gonna do with that? She said, you know, one of my boos working law enforcement. She gonna find out who she is. I was cracking up. I said, you go ahead, Pam. Pam said, I thought Karen was supposed to be the one that's street smart. Pam the one up there doing all the talking and got a lot to say. It's cracking me up. So then we see Fatima and Andi meet up in that office parking garage, and they're walking, and you know, Fatima's like, oh, you look really nice today. And is that a new handbag? And she's like, yes. So she might not have driven that car, but Andi carrying one of them new designer bags that Gary got her. And the clothes is probably something from Gary, too. It's crazy. He know her size and everything, huh? But anyway, she acknowledges it, and she's like, and she said, so they talking, and she's like, how you doing? And she said, oh, I'm doing fine. She said, what about you? She said, I should be asking about you, because you were so freaked out yesterday, because I thought you would kill somebody, you know. She's like, don't you worry about that. My guys know what they doing, you know. She said, you can't do that again. She said, they ain't gonna mess with them. She said, they got it. She said, who are you right now? She said, I'm your assistant. She said, why don't you try more like mob boss? She said, okay, I like that. I was like, my team was so crazy. She said, I know one thing. If I need to have somebody beat up, I know who to call. Fatima said, yeah, and I got you. I got you. They was laughing. And then she said, so how's Zach? Now, I was shocked. Why is Andi asking about Zach? That's your friend's ex. You shouldn't be asking about him. But she chooses to. I'm not mad at her about it. But if she wanted to stay neutral and stay out of it, she didn't really have to ask. But she did. And Fatima told her that Zach is perfect. She was like, say what? Perfect? She said, yeah, girl, I done let down all my guards. I'm all in with this brother. I said, oh, okay, as we all should be, she said, huh? But Fatima added, as long as he don't F up, you know. And he's like, yeah, for his health and well-being, knowing that Fatima got all these connections, he better not, you know. And then they see him. There goes Hayden. Homeboy is on two crutches. He got a briefcase wrapped around his neck, hanging around his neck. He got bruises on his face. He dragging his right foot and everything. I'm just like, he looked busted up. How did he heal that fast, y'all? He was on death's bed yesterday. And in TP land, these brothers and sisters, they be healing real quick. And Fatima is laughing. It is so funny. And Andi keeps telling her to stop laughing. And she said, but it's funny. I can't. He's like, I'm still laughing because I can't help it. And they laughing. And he said, y'all foul, you know. Don't say ish to me. Don't say nothing. And Fatima's like, you need some help. And he said, nah, don't say to me. For real. And he's like, Fatima says, so then we have an understanding, right? He said, an understanding? Nah, you ain't seen shit yet. She was like, what? And Andy's like, Fatima, take a breath. Fatima, walk over to him and step to him. She said, look at here, Hayden, you keep escalating this stuff and somebody gonna end up in a body bag. He said, yeah, it's gonna be you. And Andi hit him. And she said, thank you for that threat and this bruise on my face. He's like, what? Man, please. And Andi was like, I'm a witness. I heard you say it. And Hayden said, F both of y'all. And that's when Fatima said, that's the problem. You wanted to, but you couldn't do it. And he was like, yeah, whatever. Then she said, don't make me post some naked pictures of you on that hood. He's like, what? Oh, she posts them things. And then he just turned trying to leave. She said, okay, buddy, you know, and he tried to leave and walk away, and the top part off the crutch fell on the ground. And he's like, can one of y'all get that, please? And you see him using them crutches getting up out of there. It's just so funny. I'm sorry. And Andi was trying not to laugh, but she kept laughing. Oh, my God. Too hilarious. And he was like, that ain't even funny, y'all. That ain't funny. Seriously, y'all better stop laughing. Anyway, they got Logan at the airport and he's flirting again with Danni, and he's like, I think you're a beautiful woman. I want to take you out. I said, I told y'all once he saw in that nightgown, that nighty, her boobs was hanging down just about, he was not going to give up and stop. But she's showing no interest and stuff. And she acknowledges that she see that wedding band on his finger. And he's saying, no, that's just for his undercover. And she's like, yeah, whatever. So she's kind of like ignoring him, and she's showing no interest. And then he says something, and she said, I do think what you're doing for those kids is a wonderful thing. It's great. And he's like, oh, she finally said something good and nice to me. Wow. And then he was like, you really should come by and see them sometimes and see what we're doing over there. And she's like, really? He said, we could really use some volunteers. She said, okay, great, I'm in. And he said, then maybe we could go out to dinner. I could tell you about it over dinner or something like that. She's like, okay, all right, you got me. So she's agreeing to go out with him, but she'll let him know when or something like that. Then they show Calvin coming to the bank and he apologizes to Sabrina about his behavior the night before and leaving her alone in the restaurant. He really shouldn't have did that. And he wants to try all again. After she made a fool of herself, repeating all the stuff that Danni told her, that he's just trying to show that he's being a man and stuff. And it looked like and she said, you didn't really have to do all of that. It wasn't necessary. Da, 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 da. And he almost wanted to get upset. And he was like, you think that's what it was about? That's not what it was about. That man was disrespecting me. And he said, whether you were sitting there or not, I would have still behaved the same way. So it was good to hear that because it was all about the being disrespectful. So he's like, can we start all over again? I know you really like that place. Can I take you back there? She was like, oh, no, 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 no. Because she dare not tell him that man owns the place. She's like, oh, no, no, no. He said, okay, then you pick the place this time and I'll pick you up. And she's like, no. She said, I'll drive. She said, and I'll meet you there. She said, that way there will be no chance of me being left there by myself. But she was the first one that said, I'll take a ride share the first time. She said, I'll take a ride share. And he was like, no, we came together. We leave together. But then after she insisted, then he got mad and he left her there. So it was, it was both of them. It wasn't just him alone, Sabrina. So don't get no amnesia up in here. Okay? Because you didn't want to go back with him. You wanted your ride share. So anyway, she said she'll be driving to meet him there, and he smiled and said that's fair and left out. So they made up. Cool. Then they show Preston coming into the salon with what's her name, Tanya, today, and he messed up her hair, and he suggested that I come back here and get my hair done. And Karen's like, oh really, he did? I mean, I'm like, Tanya, why are you telling Karen all of this? Why don't you just say, can you do my hair? It got messed up, and leave it at that. He suggested. Preston suggested. So Karen's thinking something because she keeps saying Preston suggested it. So she's like, can you fit me in a nine? She said, yeah. She told Preston, I need to talk to you in the back. So, Tanya's like, what? Like, why you want to talk to my man? She's like, no, it's nothing. Just I need to talk to him. She brings him in the back and she starts questioning him. Are you doing this so I could go and call Danni? He said, no, I do not want you to call Danni. She's like, you sure? That's why you insisting? He said, no, I just want her to get the hair done. She said, okay, I won't call her. She said, but if you dating this woman just to get back at Danni, this ain't the way. Why, thank you, Mother Karen. Because we were wondering if that's why you was with Aaron, to get back at Zach. I mean, let's be real. Anyway, or is she thinking Zach is using Fatima to get back at her? All this craziness. It's like, please, people move on. Just move on. And he's like, absolutely not. Please do not call her. That is not what I'm doing. Okay? He made it very clear. She said, okay. All right. And she just said, okay, because she brought him in her office to talk to him. I'm like, it wasn't your place to do that either, Karen. Let's be honest. It wasn't your place. It is not. You just do your job. You got your customer and let it be, baby. Let it be. So then Karen decides to call Zach about the lady who came by the salon again this time. And Fatima answers the phone. And she's like, is Zach there? She's like, no, he's not. In her business voice. Well, can you tell him I called? Oh, what is that? Who may I ask is calling? I used to be an administrative assistant, so I know how to do that. And she said, Karen. She said, oh, and who's this? The person who answered the phone. Said Fatima Trap. I'm surprised she said the bitch that answered the phone, the person who answered that phone. And I just fell out laughing. And Karen's like, Fatima? She said, yes. Well, is Zach there? No, he's not. And she had the nerve to go, I don't know if I believe you. Girl, you about to get your butt whipped before. You want to get it whipped again? Dog, I don't know if I believe you. That ain't your place to say that. That's wanting to start mess. That's what that is. And she's like, excuse me? And she's like, Zach don't go anywhere without his phone. She said, well, baby, that's how it was when he was with you. But with me, he's not on it often, meaning I guess they in bed like getting busy. We ain't got time to talk on the phone because he talking to me in love language, baby. Maybe that's the heart and soul part. I don't know of the title. She said, yeah, okay. She said, well, I'll tell him you called. And she did. She went and she called Zach right away to tell him to come and get his phone. She got it by accident. And he's like, dang it, Fatima, I told you to get a different case. You know, this is crazy. She said, I know, I forgot. I got to get it. I got to get one. And he's like, well, that's okay. You know, he said, I don't need it right now. She's like, well, I didn't do it on purpose. Because he said it not like you did it on purpose or something. She said, no, I didn't do it on purpose. I didn't even look at the phone. I didn't know who it was. She said, but I don't even have your password, so I can't do it on purpose. And he was like, that's cool. He said, I just use your phone. She said, no, just come and get it. He said, no, I'll just use your phone. She said, but you can't use my phone because you don't have the password. And he was like, I said, oh, Lord, here we go. And he said, no, just hold on to it. It's not a big deal. She said, well, no, it is because your girl called. Who's my girl, Karen? He said, what did you want? She said, I answered. He said, oh, man. So he seemed annoyed about that. But then he was like, what does she want? And she said, look, it sounded important. She said, well, he said, well, everything is important. She said, you sure? She said, no. He said, no, I'm fine. I'll just use yours. She said, I'm telling you, again, you can't use mine. You don't have the password. So he wanted the password. She's like, dang it. So she was like, okay. And she gives her password. She said, what about you? Like, you gonna give your password? So he gave his password. And he said, go ahead, you can use it. And she used it. He said, go ahead, try it now. When she did it, it worked. It actually worked and she got in his phone. So, everything was cool. And he said, no be going through, looking through my phone. She said, I won't. Did she pretend she was going through it? But anyway, they hung up and he tried her password that she gave him and it didn't work. It didn't work. He was so mad at her. But then he said he had a backup phone. So she don't know he got a backup phone. He said, you women think y'all slick. I got a backup phone. So that was cool. Then they show Craig coming into the bank. Craig is the guy, the gay. I think they said Craig was his name. The white guy, the gay guy at the what is that bar they go to? The gay bar? I forgot what it's called. So he comes in there at closing, and Maurice is messing with him, wouldn't let him in, and what's the Sabrina store said let him in and stuff. So he comes in and he wants to get money out because he's going to a party and all this stuff. And so he's at the window and nosy Sabrina is listening as he's telling him, Q is getting out and he could be any day now, really soon. He's supposed to be making a deal with these people and stuff. I guess them people talk in that community or whatever. And he was saying, Maurice was acting like, yeah, so what? And he's telling him to bring it down some. And he's like, it's so nice of you to help him and stuff. He said, I am not helping him. I am not. And Sabrina listening like, And then she comes over after Craig leaves. She comes over and she puts in her 2 cents. Are you getting involved with him? Are you this and that? He's like, I am not. She all in his business. I know she trying to act like she being a friend, but wait till he comes to you first. Stop minding everybody's business and get your business straight. Please, Sabrina. Please, girl. And then it ended up with Aaron showing up at the salon with food for Karen and stuff. And Pam right away was like, oh, hell no, you're going to have to give me money to get my food back there, to pay me back for the food I bought her. So I was like, oh, no. And Karen's like, Pam. She's like, no, seriously, show now. So of course Karen's like, "Oh, that's really sweet of you." And Pam right there in the business, "It sure is." It really is. Pam, so she just in everybody's business. She funny. So Aaron's asking her how she doing, how's the day, really busy. She said, "Yeah, I'm just tired." He said, "Really?" He said, "Come on, let's go in the back." He takes her in the back and he starts rubbing her feet because she been busy standing on her feet all day. And and of course Pam is like, "Oh Lord, you better run her by that pedicure spot over there first before you touch them feet. You know she lazy, don't take care of them toes." I was dying. And the two other stylists are turning around listening to her. She said, "What y'all looking at? Don't let me get started on your feet either, because y'all know y'all stuff is busted." You know, Pam just going in on them. So they in the back. Aaron and Karen's in the back and he's rubbing her feet. She said, "Do you have a foot fetish or something?" He said, "No, no, I don't." He said, "I just appreciate feet." I said, "Okay, all right now." Mm. Oh, he's the one that said they carry your life, your soul, your heart. That's what your feet carry. Your life, your soul, your heart. Oh, that was beautiful. That's where that title was. I got it now, y'all. I got it now. Barbie J on point. Hey. And so it's very important to take care of them. I'm glad he said that. I'm going to go get myself a pedicure tomorrow. So then she started asking him, why is he so sweet? And he's like, "I'm not sweet." She said, "I think you are." He said, "Well, I appreciate that." And, she's talking about how he's seen her at her worst. And he said, "No, you seen me at my worst too when I was drunk." And I think he was drunk one time or something, was acting out. And she started remembering stuff. And I don't know what happened. I don't know what they said, but all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he's like, "Why is it so important for you to see me at my worst?" And she was like, "No, I just think it's important to see people at all their sides, the good, the bad, the ugly." And he's like, "Okay, you have a point there." She told him nothing seemed to shock or upset you. And he said, "That's not completely true." He said, "Life is what you make it, right?" And she sat there and thought about it for a second. Then she goes, "I'm pregnant." I said, I knew she was going to blurt that sucker out. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. And that is how it ended. I knew it, honey. I knew it. So, y'all let me know what y'all thought about this episode. I tell you, but I told y'all what was going to happen. Tell me down in the comment section. But I told y'all, I said it's going to be a problem because y'all see what's going to happen next week. Next week we got what? Him saying, "Oh, is it, it's Zach's baby or you hoping it's not mine?" We got Danni calling Preston to let him know she going out on a date with somebody. What the hell is that all about? Y'all are broken up, honey. We got Gary trying to call Andi, and Andy's like, "Look, my phone is dead," or something like that. Meanwhile, she carrying the pocketbook and all the new stuff he bought her. And she opens her apartment door and she's surprised. And we know what that is. All her shit is gone. All her stuff is gone. That's why he said, "You want me to come by?" He done bought her the penthouse in the building. So that's what that's going to be all about. I'm like, this is too much. And then what else? We got, what's her name we got Fatima telling Andi that she answered the phone when Karen called. So that's what's going to happen. Next week looks like it's going to be good. I got a lot of laughs out of this comedy, drama, whatever, sisters today. And I hope y'all enjoyed it too. This your girl, Barbie J, saying peace.